153 new companies are ready to invest in Indonesia after Omnibus Bill on job creation has turned into law. Tower Bersama Infrastructure is about to issue $700 million global bond. Good afternoon, viewers in Indonesia and Singapore. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of information from the business, economic, and capital market sectors. With me, Wicky Adrian. This is Market Headlines. BKPM, or Indonesian Investment Coordinating Board, ensures 153 new companies are ready to invest after Indonesia turning Omnibus Bill on job creation into law. Basically, investors found on the law due to its ability to bring legal certainty.
Despite many denials, business actors cannot deny the fact that the newly regulated law brings new fresh air for the investment realizations in Indonesia. Head of Indonesia's Investment Coordinating Board, Bahlil Hadalia, said that the law on job creations has ability to bring legal certainty for the investment climate in Indonesia. He assessed that the problem that have been blocking investment realizations will be solved by law on job creations. He even ensured that there are 153 new companies which are ready to invest.
Investasi ke depan, pasca Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja, bahwa ada 153 perusahaan yang sudah siap masuk pasca pemberlakuan Undang-Undang Cipta Lapangan Kerja akan banyak menampung lapangan pekerjaan. Dan lapangan pekerjaan itu jangan lagi diputar bahwa seolah-olah lapangan pekerjaan ini untuk asing. Nggak benar.
Therefore, Indonesia's Investment Coordinating Board is optimistic that the investment realizations in 2021 will be higher than in 2020. Jakarta, Rizka Ayu for IDX Channel.
Attracting investors is the main idea of law on job creation. However, in-depth economic observers said that if there are many denials and relentless curiosity over the law on job creation, contradictorily, it will pull the investors out.
Omnibus Bill on job creations is made to create jobs and attract investments from within the country and abroad that are expected to increase the prosperity of the people. Even Bahlil Hadalia, as the head of Investment Coordinating Board, stated that 153 new companies are about to invest in Indonesia after the bill has turned into law. But the workers have taken the streets across Indonesia to protest the parliament's passage of a contentious job creations law, which the trade unions and other civil society organizations claim will erode labor and environmental protections. Seeing this chaosity, in-depth economic observer Ahmad Heri Firdaus stated that the government intention to boost investment will be hard to achieve. Chaosity over the law on job creations contradictorily will pull the investors out.
Salah satu indikator baik tidaknya itu investasi itu kan dilihat dari dukungan atau aspek tenaga kerjaan. Nah, inilah yang harus di garis bawahi seperti itu ya. Jadi kalau misalnya memang investor yang masuk itu melihat bahwa tenaga kerjanya masih belum sependapat ya, masih demo, nah artinya investasi yang masuk itu mungkin lebih banyak ke sektor padat modal gitu ya, sektor padat modal yang relatif kedap terhadap penyerapan tenaga kerja.
Therefore, Harry stated that it will give impact to low employment absorptions since investors tend to pick capital-intensive investment rather than labor-intensive ones. Jakarta, Adi Firmansyah for IDX Channel.
Government ensures to have enough balance to create sovereign wealth funds, as it is stated in law on job creation. Working capital can reach 75 trillion rupiah with investment target of 225 trillion rupiah.
Sovereign Wealth Fund is in front of our eyes. President Joko Widodo has asked the cabinet to prioritize the new Sovereign Wealth Fund, set to begin with 75 trillion rupiah or equal to 5 billion rupiah, the capital made of cash, shares in state-owned companies, and state receivables. Talking about the target, it aims to attract 225 trillion rupiah of investments. The fund will be reported directly to the Mr. President with the finance minister's oversight, while its management committee will include 3 professional directors.
Modalnya juga akan ditentukan dalam PP yang terdiri dari tadi uang cash, kemudian in-bank saham BUMN, di mana kita berharap nilainya kira-kira bisa mencapai 75 triliun atau sekitar 5 billion US dollar. Dengan saham tersebut, kita berharap dengan ekuitas tersebut, tentu kita berharap kita bisa menarik dana investasi hingga mencapai 3 kali lipatnya, atau dalam hal ini sekitar 225 triliun atau 15 billion US dollar.
By the existence of this sovereign wealth fund, the government hopes to withdraw investment 3 times higher, or about 225 trillion rupiah. From Jakarta, Rahajo Pamung for IDX Channel.
Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Sebetulnya industri hilir itu lokal itu udah siap. Jadi pemerintah juga nggak perlu lagi menarik investor untuk industri hilir. Jadi pemerintah cukup menarik investor untuk industri bahan baku.
Pembahasan pasal demi pasal Omnibus Law RUU Cipta Kerja menimbulkan berbagai polemik.
Nolak RUU Omnibus Law khususnya klaster ketenagakerjaan yang kami anggap mendegradasi hak-hak pekerja Indonesia.
BPS mengumumkan jadi deflasi di bulan September.
Tapi di sisi lain, hampir seluruh sektor produktif ini mengalami pertumbuhan yang minus, maka perbankan pasti akan mengalami kesulitan untuk menyalurkan pembiayaan.
Welcome back. The Coordinating Ministry for Maritime Affairs and the Ministry of Marine and Fisheries launched a labor-intensive coral reef restoration program in Bali. This program is carried out as economic recovery strategy for communities in coastal areas. To restore the national economy, especially in the coastal areas of Indonesia, the Ministry of Marine and Fisheries and the Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Investment launched a labor-intensive coral reef restoration program. This program was started in the province of Bali in 5 regions, namely Buleleng, Nusa Dua, Serangan, Sanur, and Pandawa. The area of coral reef restoration in these 5 areas of 50 hectares, with funds used as much as 111.2 billion rupiah, taken from the National Recovery Fund Marine and Fisheries Ministry. Minister of Marine Affairs and Fisheries Edi Prabowo said that repairing coral reefs will create a better marine ecosystem. Natural resources in the form of fish will increase with improved coral reef, making it profitable for fishermen and will also attract tourists to come.
Coral reef atau kebun karang ini bukan saja akan menjadi atraksi wisata bawah laut, tetapi dapat sebagai sarana edukasi, penelitian, ataupun kegiatan riset lainnya. Program ini juga diharapkan menjadi daya ungkit terhadap pemulihan ekonomi masyarakat pesisir, karena dikemas melalui konsep padat karya yang memberdayakan masyarakat pesisir di Provinsi Bali yang terdampak pandemi COVID-19.
It is hoped that coral reefs will not only be a location for fish food needs, but are also expected to be a means for tourism education and underwater research. If all goes according to strategy, there will be 11,300 labor absorption from this program. Jakarta, Muhammad Olga, IDX Channel. Yeah, sometimes work can be so hectic and you just have to take a deep breath and get out into the deep blue ocean, right? Well, if ocean is in your mind, then Indonesia has the answer. Forming one corner of the Coral Triangle, Indonesia is epicenter of world marine biodiversity. One interesting fact is that Indonesia is also containing 20% of the world's coral reefs. Very cool, right? See that a potential government is now developing Indonesia Coral Reef Garden Program, starting in Bali. Well, in short, it's about restoring coral reefs in Bali area. Therefore, to get deeper view, let's see what are the purpose behind the coral reef garden development. These are the basic reasons of the program. First one is for the tourism. Local economies receive income from visitors to reef regions, diving tours, recreational fishing trips, hotels, restaurants, other businesses based near reef ecosystem. And of course, for the fisheries sector, the fish that grow and live on coral reefs are a significant food source for over 1 billion people. For education, research and development of marine environment. And the government step is very much needed because coral reefs in Indonesia need more spotlight. There are over 3,000 fish species and 600 coral species to discover, where the dive sites come in diverse types from corals, deep walls, deep water trenches, wrecks, and underwater volcanic mountains. Bali is chosen as the first area to conduct the program. The Indonesian government is setting course to build coral reef gardens in 5 locations across Bali in hopes of conserving and restoring marine ecosystems around the island. And let's see the specific locations in the next graphic. This is the Bali Coral Reef Garden Development. The location, as you can see in the screen, first one is Nusa Dua, and then the second one is Serangan, Pandawa, Buleleng, and Sanur. And these gardens will serve as sites to transplant coral, and officials say that they are working with researchers and academics in order to further develop ICRG. Aside from government seriousness in improving the marine ecosystem, Minister is optimistic that the Indonesia Coral Reef Garden Program in Bali can be a hero on the economic recovery of coastal communities. As we know, a large number of dive shops, dive operators, and resorts have suffered significant losses since the pandemic began in Indonesia in March. And well, this program is packaged through a labor-intensive concept and empowers coastal communities on Bali, the islands of gods. And let's see how is the economic effect behind the coral reefs restoration. This is the effect behind Bali Coral Reef Garden. The budget allocation for this program as much as 111.2 billion rupiah, and it will be absorbed as much as 11,300 workers, and this is the part of national economic recovery. We compiled the data from Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries. Ministers ensured that the construction of ICRG would not stop after the program over. On the other hand, this program will be supported by the Indonesia Tourism Development Corporation, as well as a Coral Garden Museum to complement the coral gardens. He hopes that this coral garden will attract more tourist visits and provide hope and encouragement to revive the marine tourism sector in Bali. And as we know that Bali is included as 3 provinces have suffered the biggest contraction aside from Jakarta and Yogyakarta. Bali, whose economy depends largely on the tourism sector, was the hardest hit by the economic impact of the pandemic with a contraction of 10.98%. And let's see the next graphic for further details. This is Bali's economic pressure from January to August 2020. Foreign tourist arrivals dropped by 74.2% compared to last year. And Bali also suffered monthly loss as much as 9 trillion rupiah. And the first quarter of 2020, the economic growth only reached minus 1.14%. And the second quarter of 2020, economic growth dropped by 10%. Through the data, we can assess that the island's economy had been badly hit by the pandemic. Experts estimated that 80% of its economy relied directly or indirectly on tourism, and has been on a recession with its gross domestic product declining by 10.98% between April and June, more than twice the national average. The situation, according to Bali's manpower agency, has cost the jobs of at least 75,000 workers who had been either laid off or forced to take unpaid leave. Therefore, many people, especially Balinese, put high expectation on government's move to develop a coral reef garden program. And with measurable targets to improve, we hope that soon Bali's coral reefs can boost economic recovery and over its best panoramic view. Stay tuned on Market Headlines because we'll be right back after the break.
Bagaimana outlook UMKM di 2020 ini, Pak Leona?
Saya ingin mengajak terutama anak-anak muda, bagaimana caranya supaya nantinya ini bisa berkooperasi dengan baik. Dan ini sudah dimulai.
Saat ini lebih mudah untuk mendapatkan informasi mengenai perkembangan ekonomi dan bisnis di Indonesia dengan aplikasi IDX Channel. Mulai dari berita, makro dan mikroekonomi, politik hingga hiburan. Anda juga dapat berbagi artikel, foto, dan video ke semua platform media sosial yang Anda miliki. Beragam informasi hari ini bisa di-download di dalam aplikasi idxchannel.com. IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business, and Capital Market Channel.
Adi akan ada proyek bikin hunian atau tempat tinggal?
Konsepnya adalah membawa kemudahan masyarakat sekitar Jakarta untuk bekerja di pusat kota. Total saat ini Adi Komputer Property mengembangkan 11 titik ya. Kalau Mas baru beli sekarang mungkin udah ke 3.000 sekian pembeli.
Kita bisa mulai merasakan fase 1 di tahun berapa?
Di tahun 2021.
We're on the last segment at the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement. Earlier today, JCI opened at the level of 5,081.74. And then approaching the closing time of the first session, the index was on the level of 5,033.74. Then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 5,039.13. In short, JCI went up 0.7%. And next, we are going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. We got Miss Industry as the leader of the strengthening trend, went up 1.78%. Manufacturer went up 1.01%, and consumer goods went up 1.0%. And as the later weakening trend, we got construction went down 1.1%. And moving on to the top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. We've got Telkom went up 1.5% to the level of 2,700 per share. BBRI went up 0.96% to the level of 3,150 per share. Astra International went up 2.59% to the level of 4,750 per share. MDKA went up 1.75% to the level of 1,000 745 per share. Meantime, for the top losers in today's trading, we got BMRI, Boga, Zinc, and J Sky. And next, we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar, open at the level of 14,681. Rupiah was also showing strengthening trend towards US dollar, was closed at the level of 14,672. In summary, rupiah went up 0.06%. Tower Bersama Infrastructure plans to issue global bonds of up to 700 million US dollar, or equivalent to 10.4 trillion rupiah. The bond issuance aimed to pay off maturing debts, accelerate debt payments, and finance business expansion. The global bond will be issued without guarantee, while interest rates and maturities, as well as the initial global bond buyers, will be announced later. However, the company estimates that the maturity date of principal debt payments is no longer than 10 years from issuance, and the maximum interest rate is 6% annually. As planned, the company will hold an extraordinary general meeting of shareholders on November 12, 2020. The bonds will later be listed on the Singapore Stock Exchange, or SGX. Meanwhile, Binarta Sekuritas analyst Muhammad Nafan Aji Gusta said that the telecommunications tower sector is one of the sectors that foreign investors are interested in. The analyst expects the Tower Bersama global bond issuance will run smoothly and will be positively responded by investors, especially since the company has a good track record in previous issuance. To support its long-term performance, Vale Indonesia has completed a 20% share divestment transaction worth 5.52 trillion rupiah with Indonesia Asahan Aluminum, or MIND ID.
To support its long-term performance, Vale Indonesia has completed a 20% share divestment transaction with Indonesia Asahan Aluminum, or MIND ID. Quoting the company's disclosure on the Indonesia Stock Exchange website, Vale Indonesia CEO and President Director Nico Kanter said that the completion of this divestment has put the company in the right position to continue to contribute to Indonesia's development and strengthen the company's long-term commitment in processing nickel resources in order to increase added value, sustainability, and local empowerment in this country. Meanwhile, the sale and transfer of 20% of these shares was valued at 5.52 trillion rupiah. Based on Bloomberg data, the sale transaction was carried out through Citigroup Sekuritas Indonesia. Meanwhile, buying transactions are made through Danareksa Sekuritas. In the transaction, as the majority shareholder, Vale Canada Limited and Sumitomo Metal Mining, Vale Indonesia released its ownership of 14.9% and 5.1% respectively to MIND ID. Thus, after the transaction is completed, Vale Indonesia's share ownership will change to Vale Canada Limited by 43.79%, MIND ID by 20%, Sumitomo Metal Mining by 15.03%, and the public by 20.49%. From all sources for IDX Channel.
National COVID-19 Task Force Chief Doni Monardo just established the use of the Regional General Hospital for COVID-19 isolation in Biak Numfor, Papua. The hospital has capacity of 50 patients, and 10 of them are for patients who need special care. The hospital will serve people in Biak Island and surrounding areas such as Japan Island. Biak region, Harry Aryo Naap warmly welcomed government's good intention to Biak, whereas Regional General Hospital for COVID-19 is very much needed in Biak. So far, people who got transmitted by COVID-19 had to go to Jayapura City to get special care. This is in line with National COVID-19 Task Force Chief Doni Monardo's statement. He explained that government was acting quickly because the Biak Numfor community needed a proper hospital, including for handling COVID-19. Government set 43 billion rupiah budget for the construction, whereas the budget for a Regional General Hospital comes from the National Disaster Management Agency. And step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes a big role on current economic situation. And here it is, an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening.